There are two versions of you that wake up every morning. One wants comfort. The other wants growth. One looks for excuses. The other looks for opportunity. The direction of your life depends on which one you choose to feed. In Can't Hurt Me, David Goggins shares a powerful idea. When your mind tells you you're done, you're usually only at 40% of your true capacity. That means most people quit long before they actually reach their limits. Not because they can't continue, but because their mind convinces them they can't. Breaking your limits daily begins with understanding this truth. Your brain is designed to protect you. It wants safety. It wants efficiency. It wants to avoid pain. The moment something becomes uncomfortable, your mind sends signals to stop. But growth does not live inside comfort. It lives on the edge of discomfort. Goggins didn't start as a strong or confident man. He struggled with fear, self-doubt, and failure. He was overweight, stuck in a job he hated, and constantly running from responsibility. One day, he looked at himself in the mirror and decided to stop lying to himself. He realized that he had been choosing the easy path for years. That moment of brutal honesty changed everything. If you want to break your limits daily, you must first take full responsibility for your life. Not partial responsibility. Full responsibility. It doesn't matter what happened in your past. It doesn't matter who doubted you. What matters is what you do next. Most people live controlled by their feelings. If they feel motivated, they work hard. If they feel tired, they rest. If they feel scared, they avoid. But feelings are temporary. Discipline is a decision, and decisions repeated daily shape your identity. When your alarm rings in the morning, that's your first test. Hitting snooze might seem small, but reinforces a habit of delay. Getting up immediately builds control. It tells your mind that you are in charge. These small moments matter more than you think. Goggins calls this callousing the mind. Just like your hands develop calluses through hard labor, your mind becomes tougher through repeated exposure to difficulty. You don't build mental strength by reading motivational quotes. You build it by doing hard things when you don't feel like doing them. Run when you feel tired. Study when you feel distracted. Train when you feel weak. Work when you feel unmotivated. Each time you push past resistance, your limits expand slightly, and those small expansions add up over time. It never finished. Goggins emphasizes that growth has no finish line. The moment you think you've arrived, you begin to decline. Breaking your limits daily means accepting that improvement is a lifelong process. There is no final level where you can relax forever. There's always another edge to test. But breaking limits doesn't mean destroying yourself. It means identifying what you're avoiding because it feels uncomfortable. Maybe you're avoiding the gym. Maybe you're avoiding starting that business. Maybe you're avoiding difficult conversations. Usually, the thing you resist the most is the thing that will grow you the most. Fear creates invisible walls. Fear of failure. Fear of judgment. Fear of embarrassment. These fears convince you to stay small. But the only way to shrink fear is through action. Confidence doesn't come before action. It comes because of action. One powerful tool is the accountability mirror. Stand in front of yourself and tell the truth. Where are you weak? Where are you inconsistent? Where are you making excuses? This isn't about self-hate. It's about self-awareness. You cannot improve what you refuse to confront. Breaking your limits daily also requires setting challenges that stretch you, not impossible goals, but uncomfortable ones. Wake up earlier than usual. Add extra reps to your workout. Read more than you planned. Practice longer than you feel like. These small, daily challenges train your brain to handle stress and discomfort. Consistency is the real secret. Anyone can be intense for one day. Very few can stay disciplined for months or years. The person who shows up daily, even when it's boring, even when it's hard, eventually separates themselves from everyone else. There will be days when you fail, days when you skip, days when you feel like quitting. That's normal. Breaking your limits doesn't require perfection. It requires persistence. The key is not avoiding failure. It's returning stronger after it. Instead of asking, why is this so hard? Start asking, how is this making me stronger? Every struggle carries a lesson. Every obstacle builds resilience. When you change the way you see pain, you change the way you respond to it. Over time, something powerful happens. The things that once felt impossible begin to feel normal. The early mornings get easier. The long workouts feel manageable. The hard tasks feel routine. Your limits move quietly without you even noticing. And that's the goal, not to impress others, but to discover your own potential, to prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you believed. Every day you wake up, you face a choice. Stay within yesterday's comfort zone or step slightly beyond it. You don't need a massive leap. You need a small step forward, then another tomorrow, then another the next day. Breaking your limits daily is not about motivation. Motivation fades quickly. It's about commitment, a decision that no matter how you feel, you will show up and give effort. The version of you that wants comfort will always exist, but so will the version that wants greatness. The more you feed the disciplined version, the stronger it becomes. Eventually, it becomes your default. You are capable of far more than you think. Your body can endure more. Your mind can handle more. Your spirit can push further. The only real question is this. When discomfort appears tomorrow morning, which version of you will win? Growth does not happen by accident. It happens by intention. If you want to break your limits daily, you must stop waiting for the perfect mood, the perfect timing, or the perfect opportunity. Those things rarely come. What comes every single day is a decision. The decision to push. The decision to endure. The decision to keep going when your mind says stop. In Can't Hurt Me, David Goggins explains that most people live far below their true potential because they never test themselves. They stay in environments where they feel safe and capable. They avoid situations where they might fail. But without failure, there is no growth. Without testing your limits, you never discover where they actually are. If you want to expand your limits, you must deliberately put yourself in difficult situations. This doesn't mean being reckless. It means choosing challenges that force you to adapt. Sign up for something that scares you. Take on responsibility that feels heavy. Set a goal that demands more from you than you've ever given before. Pressure reveals character. It shows you who you are under stress. When Goggins decided to become a Navy SEAL, he wasn't physically prepared. He failed multiple times during the brutal training process known as BUD/S. His body broke down. His mind was exhausted. Most people would have accepted defeat as proof they weren't good enough, but he treated failure as feedback. Instead of asking, "Why me?" he asked, "What do I need to improve?" That mindset is everything. Breaking your limits daily requires you to separate your identity from your performance. Failing at something does not make you a failure. It makes you a student. Every weakness you discover is simply an area that needs training. When you see challenges this way, you stop fearing them. One of the biggest limits people face is mental fatigue. You start something with excitement, but when the initial motivation fades, you slow down. The work becomes boring. Repetition feels exhausting. This is where most people quit. Not because it's impossible, but because it's no longer exciting. Discipline lives in boredom. Can you continue when the work feels repetitive? Can you stay consistent when no one is watching? Can you give full effort when there's no applause? That's where real strength is built. In Never Finished, Goggins talked about the idea that you are never done evolving. The moment you become satisfied, you start slipping backward. Comfort is subtle. It doesn't announce itself loudly. It whispers, "You've done enough," and if you listen too often, your progress stops. Breaking your limits daily means staying hungry. It means refusing to let yesterday's success become the day's excuse to relax. Celebrate small wins, but don't live in them. Use them as proof that you can handle more. Another powerful strategy is building mental endurance through physical discomfort. The body and mind are connected. When you train your body to push through fatigue, whether it's running, lifting, or intense workouts, you're also training your mind to handle stress in other areas of life. Physical struggle becomes mental armor, but the true battle is internal. Your inner voice can either build you or destroy you. Many people have a negative soundtrack playing in their minds. I'm not good enough. I always mess up. I can't compete. Over time, those thoughts become beliefs, and beliefs shape behavior. If you want to break limits, you must control your self-talk. Replace "I can't" with "I'm learning." Replace "this is too hard" with "this is building me." Replace "I'm tired" with "I can do a little more." You don't have to lie to yourself. You have to challenge yourself. Another key principle is embracing suffering as part of the journey. Nobody becomes exceptional by avoiding pain. Pain is not the enemy. It's the teacher. It reveals weaknesses. It forces adaptation. It demands focus. When you accept that discomfort is part of the process, you stop being surprised by it. Most people expect the path to get easier. In reality, the path gets harder, but you get stronger, and strength changes how difficulty feels. Breaking your limits daily also requires clarity. Why are you pushing? What are you building? Without a strong reason, discipline fades quickly. Your why must be deeper than money or attention. It must connect to identity. Who are you trying to become? What kind of person do you want to see in the mirror 5 years from now? When your purpose is clear, pain becomes tolerable. You also have to learn to operate without external validation. Not everyone will understand your grind. Some will question you. Some will doubt you. Some will laugh at your ambition. If you depend on approval, their opinions will slow you down. But if your drive comes from within, their noise becomes irrelevant. This journey is personal. It's you versus your excuses. You versus your fear. You versus your old habits. Every day you win small battles. You weaken the old version of yourself, the lazy version, the fearful version. There comes a point in this journey where effort alone is not enough. You've started pushing yourself. You've tasted discomfort. You've proven that you can go further than you thought. But now the challenge becomes deeper. It's no longer just about physical pain or waking up early. It's about mastering your mind under pressure. In Can't Hurt Me, David Goggins describes moments where his body was completely broken, stress fractures, exhaustion, dehydration. Yet he kept going, not because he was superhuman, but because he trained his mind to override his immediate desire for relief. He understood something powerful. The mind will always choose comfort unless you train it otherwise. Breaking your limits daily requires mental conditioning. Your mind is like a muscle. If you constantly give in to cravings, distractions, and fear, it becomes weak. If you challenge it consistently, it becomes sharp and disciplined. The problem is that most people only train their strengths. They avoid their weaknesses. But your weaknesses are exactly where growth lives. Ask yourself, what do I avoid the most? Is it public speaking? Is it strict discipline with food? Is it consistent study? Is it facing rejection? Is it pushing hard in workouts? The area that makes you uncomfortable is the area that holds your next level. It never finished. Goggins explains that evolution is a continuous process. You don't reach a stage where you're mentally complete. Every new level demands a stronger mindset. That's why breaking limits daily is not about one transformation. It's about continuous transformation. But here's the reality. Growth feels lonely. When you start changing, the people around you may not understand. They might say you're doing too much. They might call you extreme. They might question your dedication. And if you're not mentally strong, their opinions can slowly pull you back to average. You must learn to be comfortable being misunderstood. Greatness often looks strange to ordinary people. Waking up at 4 a.m., training when you're exhausted, working when others are relaxing. These behaviors aren't normal. But if you want uncommon results, you cannot live a common lifestyle. Another key element of breaking limits is controlling your environment. Discipline is easier when your surroundings support it. Remove distractions. Limit social media. Surround yourself with people who challenge you instead of comfort you. Environment shapes behavior more than motivation ever will. However, even in the best environment, your internal dialogue remains your greatest battlefield. There will be days when your mind becomes loud with excuses. You deserve a break. You've already done enough. It's not that serious. Skip today. Start tomorrow. That voice sounds reasonable, logical, even kind. But if you listen too often, it weakens you. Instead of argue with that voice emotionally, respond with action. Don't debate. Execute. Action silences doubt faster than overthinking ever will. Breaking your limits daily also means raising your standards. Many people set goals, but their standards remain low. A goal says, I want this. A standard says, this is who I am. When your standards rise, your behavior changes automatically. For example, instead of saying, I want to work out more, shift to, I am someone who trains daily. Instead of, I want to be disciplined, shift to, I don't break promises to myself. That shift in identity is powerful. When you build a habit of keeping small promises to yourself, your confidence grows. Confidence is not built by compliments. It's built by evidence. Evidence that you can trust yourself. Evidence that you follow through. Evidence that you endure. And endurance is everything. Life will test you in ways you cannot predict. Loss, failure, criticism, unexpected setbacks, they will come. If you only train when conditions are easy, you will collapse when conditions are hard. But if you train yourself to operate under stress, you become resilient. Resilience doesn't mean you don't feel pain. It means pain doesn't control you. The more you push your limits voluntarily, the more prepared you are for involuntary challenges. When hardship arrives, you won't panic. You'll respond. You'll adapt. You'll fight. There is also a powerful concept in embracing accountability without self-pity. When you fall short, own it quickly. Don't create stories. Don't blame circumstances. Say, that was on me. Then immediately focus on improvement. This keeps your energy directed forward instead of wasted on excuses. Remember, breaking your limits daily is not about being perfect. It's about refusing to stay average. It's about choosing growth over comfort repeatedly until it becomes natural. The process will feel repetitive, sometimes boring, sometimes exhausting. But within that repetition, something extraordinary is happening. Your threshold for pain is increasing. Your focus is sharpening. Your identity is shifting. You are becoming harder to break. And that is the real goal, not just success, not just achievement, but inner strength, a level of mental toughness where obstacles don't intimidate you, where setbacks don't define you, where discomfort doesn't stop you. Each day you push past resistance. Even slightly, you build that strength. So when tomorrow challenges you, when fatigue hits, when doubt whispers, when excuses appear, remember this. You are not trying to be comfortable. You are trying to be capable. And capability is built through daily pressure, daily discipline, and daily decisions to go one step further than yesterday. This is where everything comes together. You've learned to wake up with intention. You've pushed through discomfort. You've trained your body and sharpened your mind. But now comes the most important truth about breaking your limits daily. It never gets easier. You just get stronger. In Can't Hurt Me, David Goggins shares stories of running ultramarathons with broken bones, competing through unimaginable pain, and choosing suffering when quitting would have been understandable. Not because he enjoyed pain, but because he understood what pain produces. Pain produces growth. Pressure produces strength. Resistance produces power. Most people spend their lives trying to avoid pressure, but diamonds are formed under pressure. Steel is forged in fire, and character is built in adversity. Breaking your limits daily is not about proving the world wrong. It's about proving yourself right. It's about looking in the mirror and knowing you did not back down from your potential. There will always be another level. When you conquer one fear, another will appear. When you reach one goal, a bigger one will call you forward. This is not a curse. It's a gift. It means you are alive. It means you are evolving. It never finished. The message is clear. There is no final version of you. No ultimate arrival point. The journey of self-mastery never ends. The only question is whether you continue climbing or settle halfway up the mountain. Settling is seductive. It whispers, you've done enough. It says, relax now. It convinces you that average is acceptable. But deep down, you know the truth. You know when you've held back. You know when you've quit early. You know when you've chosen comfort over courage. And that inner knowing is powerful. Because once you become aware of your potential, it becomes impossible to ignore it. Breaking your limits daily means building a reputation with yourself. A reputation for discipline, for toughness, for consistency.